Welcome back, fellow seekers, to our journey through the 7 sacred principles. We have explored mentalism, discovering the universe as a living, breathing mind. We have navigated correspondence and learned that reality mirrors the greater cosmos. We have studied vibration, the underlying energy that powers it all. Today we dive into the next piece of this puzzle, the principle of rhythm. Because everything in the universe has 2 poles, rhythm is the great pendulum that swings between them. Life is not a straight line, it unfolds in cycles. The sun rises and falls, seasons shift, nations rise and fall. Even our breath illustrates this law. Inhale and exhale, high tide and low tide. The axiom says, the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. The outward flow is balanced by an inward flow, the height of a rise by a corresponding fall. This balancing law is not punishment but harmony. When you reach a high point of joy or success, a swing back toward a lower point will follow. When you are at a low point, the law guarantees a swing upward. This is not about being powerless. It is about understanding natural cycles so we stop fighting them and start mastering them. In our next segment, we will apply this law and discover how to overcome its effects on our emotions and moods. Are you ready to stop being a helpless pendulum and learn to ride the wave? Everything flows and ebbs. This is a universal law. Where we truly feel the cosmic pendulum is on the mental plane. Our moods, feelings, and emotions swing rhythmically. A time of great enthusiasm is almost always followed by a period of depression. Courage often yields to fear. The Hermetic teachings describe this through the law of compensation. The swing in one direction determines the swing in the opposite direction. The greater the joy, the greater the potential for sorrow. Intense pleasure balances with potential pain. The average person is a helpless passenger on this mental pendulum, lost in highs and devastated by lows. They never realize it is part of a predictable cycle. You do not have to be a pawn. Hermetic masters learned that, although they could not stop the pendulum, they could neutralize its effect on consciousness. By rising to a higher plane, polarizing at the positive pole, they let the pendulum swing below on the unconscious plane. Imagine standing on a high cliff while a storm rages in the valley below. You see the rhythm of the storm, yet you are not tossed by its winds. This is mental alchemy, choosing not to be swept away by emotional swings. In our next section, we will explore tools and techniques to achieve this neutralization, so you can stand firm and centered even as life's pendulum swings around you. We have established that everything has its tides and cycles and that life's pendulum is always swinging. The key is that you do not have to be a helpless passenger on that swing. The Hermetic masters called the way to rise above it neutralization. Neutralization means lifting your consciousness to a higher plane so the rhythmic swing passes beneath you. The pendulum moves, but you are no longer enslaved by its motion. Picture yourself as a surfer. You do not fight the waves, you ride them. A master hermetist rides the waves of emotion and circumstance, remaining calm and centered while the world ebbs and flows. How is it done? It is a conscious act of will. The average person is pulled along by moods, happy when things are good and miserable when things are bad. The hermetist polarizes at the positive pole and refuses to let the negative swing pull them down. This is not denial. When frustration arises, acknowledge it. Then, with determined will, shift your awareness from anger or disappointment to patience or acceptance. The pendulum still swings, yet you observe it from a place of inner peace. This is true self-mastery, the difference between a log carried by the current and a skilled swimmer navigating with intention. You are a co-creator, not a victim, and this principle gives you the tools to steer your own ship. In our next segment, we will connect this to the final rhythm teaching and see how to apply these principles for lasting balance. We have discussed the mental pendulum and the tool of neutralization. Now, let us see how this looks in practice and how it leads to true mastery. The goal is not to be emotionless. It is to achieve poise, an inner balance that is not shaken by life's swings. When you master the principle of rhythm, you stop reacting and start responding. When a low point arrives, you do not panic. You know it is part of the rhythm, and that a swing upward is certain. This awareness transforms you from passenger to navigator. Most people are pawns moved by external forces and emotions. The Hermetic Master, understanding the rules, becomes a mover, using the principles instead of fighting them. They act when the tide rises and rest when it falls, always aligned with the natural flow. This mastery brings inner freedom. You are no longer tossed by circumstances. Your happiness is rooted in internal stability, your poise. By using higher mental laws to overcome lower ones, you begin to rule on your own plane, creating a life in harmony with the universal rhythm of the all. We have covered much, yet this is only the beginning. Rhythm leads us to the next principle, cause and effect, showing that nothing happens by chance. After that comes the principle of gender, unveiling the creative power behind it all. Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and remember to ride life's waves with poise.